So yesterday we uh, got this topic. We touched this topic, Internet Monetary Payment System, and we came to know that there are four monetary payment systems, electronic monetary payment systems. We I just mentioned about two of them. Out of the four, I mentioned two. Still, I'll repeat from the beginning, and we will look into all these four monetary internet monetary payment systems one by one, as well as their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, we will look into the four different types of internet monetary payment systems, and we shall also look what are their advantages and shortcomings or limitations. So the first one is these are the different types of electronic payment systems: online credit card payment system, electronic check system, electronic cash system, and smart card based electronic payment system. And among these four, yesterday we touched the first two, that is online credit card payment system and the electronic check system. Still, we will start again from the first one. So let us look into it. Online credit card payment system. So it extends the functionality of existing credit cards for use as online shopping payment tools. Okay? Yesterday I told you about credit cards, how what is the advantage of having a credit card, how even if there is not sufficient fund in the account holder's account for making some payment, for purchasing something or making any kind of payment, still the payment can be made if the account holder, if the person has um, a credit card, and then also to some extent, to a limitation, considering some limitation, the payment can be made, and within some uh, scheduled time, the amount has to be maintained. The amount that has been sent for payment, that has been paid, has to be maintained in the account holder's account. Yes, that is a credit card. So that's why it's very advantageous for retail sellers, for both consumers as well as merchants. Consumers means the sellers of products and services, and the merchants means the buyers, the business organizations. The sorry, not buyers, the sellers. Merchants are the sellers, and consumers are the buyers. So since even if there is not sufficient amount, sufficient fund is not there, still since business transaction or payment and selling business, uh, uh, e-commerce doesn't have to stop, doesn't have to wait. That's why credit card system is very advantageous for both the sellers as well as the buyers, that is the merchants and the consumers. That's why credit cards are very widely used, very widely accepted. It extends the functionality of existing credit cards for use as online shopping payment tools. It is widely accepted by consumers or customers and merchants throughout the world, and by far the most popular method of payments, especially in retail markets. Retail markets means you can think of the dealers, the shops, um, from where we purchase, from where actually we purchase or buy our products online. So their credit cards is very widely used nowadays because of its advantages. So then these are the advantages of using online credit card payment system. Privacy. It maintains the privacy of the card holder, that is the account holder. The information about the account, the personal information as well as other related or account related information is kept protected. Okay, the privacy of the account holder is maintained. And the account holder doesn't, or the card transaction or payment using this on credit card system does not have to reveal the privacy or the vital information about the account holder as well as his or her bank account details. Okay, it maintains the privacy. Then Integrity means, one day I told you, the data, the information that is sent from either the buyer to the seller or the seller to the buyer while performing any business transaction using online credit card system, that information remains intact. It is not uh, manipulated by some hacker. If the information is flowing from one end, say from the buyer to the seller or from the seller to the buyer, then in the middle, some hacker or fraudster cannot hack or get access to that information and manipulate it, motivate it. Okay, manipulate. Sorry, not motivate. Cannot change it or modify it. Compatibility. It is very compatible with different platforms, different softwares, different operating systems, as well as hardware configurations. That's why it's very easy to use. It's very convenient. Okay, online credit card system. Good transaction efficiency, acceptability, convenience, mobility. So since it's a small plastic card only, um, it's mobility. It's carrying it, or since we need to log into the account, bank holder's account, and anywhere where there is the internet facility is there, internet connectivity is there, it can be accessed, and the functions of this online credit card system can be accessed, and the transactions can be done, payments can be done. So it's very convenient to use, and um, it's compatible for use different platforms running on different operating systems or softwares, and low financial risk and anonymity. So there is a very little risk of, since it maintains the privacy about the account holders information about the account holders bank account details, so there is less risk of uh, being um, this card system, online credit card system, being hacked by some fraudster. Okay. Then, when there are so many advantages, certain disadvantages or shortcomings or limitations are also there in this system, online credit card payment system. They are, the disadvantages are, first of all, it seeks to address several limitations on online credit card payments for merchant, including lack of authentication, repudiation of charges, and credit card frauds. Okay, now now we know that what is a credit card. It enables the card holder, a credit card enables the card holder to make a payment for buying some product or service, even though there is not, even though at that moment there is not sufficient amount or fund in his or her bank account. Okay, so even if there is not sufficient fund, the payment can be done, and within some scheduled time, some predefined time period, the amount has to be maintained in the account holder's bank account. So it provides a lot of flexibility, of course. But since to avail that flexibility, that convenience, several limitations are also there. Okay, it is because it is a risky business. Enabling someone to use money even if there is not sufficient fund in his or her bank account, still um, enabling the account holder to make the payment, it uh, incurs some limitations, certain risk on the bank or on the financial institution. That's why certain several risk is also there. Okay, several limitations are also there for the, especially for the merchants, for the business organizations. Okay, for the sellers. Then repudiation charges and credit card frauds. And repudiation charges means credit cards are expensive than general ATM cards or debit cards because they provide more flexibility, they provide more convenience, and maintaining the information or the providing that flexibility or convenience to the card holder um, incurs some cost, requires some charges for um, maintenance of the credit card, okay, online credit, the credit card system. So That's why it is expensive compared to uh, the general ATM or debit card. And credit card frauds. Credit card frauds means certain hackers are always there when the internet is there, when people anyone can access the internet, then always the risk is there. The risk factor cannot be totally ignored or totally cannot be wiped out. Okay, the risk of from hackers or fraudsters will always be there when it is online. Number two, so this is disadvantage number one. It seeks to address several limitations on the online credit card payments. Why? Because it is providing some flexibility, some convenience to the account holder, isn't it? That's why on some risk, considering some risk. That's why at the cost of that those risks, certain limitations also have to be faced by the card holder, account holder. Okay. Number two, it seeks to address consumer fears about using credit card, such as having to reveal credit card information at multiple sites and repeatedly having to communicate sensitive information over the internet. Now, even though this online credit card system is very widely used nowadays, it is becoming very popular for especially for business transactions, both consumers and merchants, for both the sellers as well as buyers of products and services. Still, uh, for many people, many consumers, for whom this online credit card system is not very, uh, is still a new system for making payment over the internet. So that's why they're, what, so they have some fears in their minds that whether um, using this card will be totally safe, totally free from some misdeed by some hacker. Okay, this kind of fear will always be there because people are using this. It is not very common, though it is widely used by those who know this well. It is very convenient, very it provides a lot of flexibility, but still for the new consumers, new customers, or new credit card users, online credit card systems, the risk cannot be wiped out totally from their minds that um, for using this credit card, the information that they have to type in, that they have to enter for using the credit card will be totally safe or totally is totally protected. Okay, so that fear will always be there for the new card holders or new consumers. That fear, so that's why that is a limitation, that is a disadvantage, and because of that fear, they become reluctant. They uh, prefer not to use. The new users prefer not to use this online credit card systems. But for those who have overcome that fear of using the card. And those who have no doubt about the safety of the information, about the privacy of the information that is made, that is about how the information is protected. For those who are secured, who feel safe, this card is very flexible, very convenient, and for them only, the card has become the online credit card system has become very popular and very convenient. Okay, but for the new consumers, since fears are always there, so um, it's like a limitation. They don't um, feel very comfortable using this online credit card system for making payments. It seeks to address consumer fears about using credit card, such as having to reveal credit card information at multiple sites and repeatedly having to communicate sensitive information over the internet. So this is the first type of electronic payment system. Next is electronic check system. Now we know what is a paper check. A paper check um, is a paper document. We can call it a document. It is a paper document which contains the uh, account number of the account holder, the account number of the payer, or the account number, and a digital number, isn't it? Written in magnetic ink. So that is the check number. And then the account holder or the payer has to write the name of the payee to whom he or she wants to make the payment, as well as the amount that he or she wants to pay. So after filling this information, the name of the payee and the amount to be paid, and after signing the check can be deposited in some bank for processing and clearing or clearance. Then the amount that has been written here, when everything is okay, when the authenticity is verified by verifying the signature of the account holder or the payer, if it is found that the signature matches with the one that is there in the bank account information, bank account details, then the card is sent for processing, and the amount written on that card on that check is processed, that is transacted or transferred from the payer's bank account to the payee's bank account. Okay, that is a paper check. Now, that is the usual traditional paper check. That is how, and the authenticity is verified. Authenticity is verified by checking the signature, by matching the signature, whether the signature on the check matches with the one that is there in the bank account details or not. If it matches, then it's okay. The card is sent for processing, and the check is sent for processing, and the fund or the amount written on the check is debited from the payer's bank account, and it is credited or transferred to the payee's pays bank account, um, bank account. Okay, now that is the usual or traditional check system, payment made through the check system. And when it is the electronic, in the electronic check system, what happens? It is the same thing, almost same, but here it's not the paper form, it's electronic or soft form, digital form. And um, instead of the signature made made by the payer with a pen, here some digital number is used as the signature. Okay, a digital sign or a digital number uh, is used. Digital number is used for um, authenticating. Okay, for authenticating the payer. So by reading that digital number, the authenticity is verified, and after that, the electronic check is processed, and the amount is debited from the payer's account and credited to the payee's bank account. It addresses the electronic needs of millions of businesses which today exchange traditional paper checks with other vendors, consumers, and government. The e-check method was deliberately created to work in much the same way as conventional paper check. An account holder will issue an electronic document that contains the name of the financial institution. Financial institution is the bank account, is the bank where the um, payer or where the person who is making the payment using the electronic check has a bank account, okay, has a savings bank account. An account holder will issue an electronic document that contains the name of the financial institution, the payer's account number, the name of the payee, and the amount of the check. So these things are similar um, as for the paper check. Okay, the paper check also contains this information: the financial institution, the name of the financial institution, of course, the name of the bank in which the which issues the checkbook to the account holder. That name is there in any paper check. So here also the electronic check also contains the name of the financial institution. That is the name of the bank which issues this check. Okay, the payer's account number. Yes, the person who is making the payment using the electronic check system, his account number must be there on the check. The name of the payee, the person, the name of the payee. The payee means the person or the receiver. Okay, there is the account holder, name of the account holder to whose account the payment will be done. Okay, the fund will be transferred, and the amount of check, and of course the amount that is to be transferred, that is to be um, credited to the pays amount, pays bank account. So this information are there in a paper check as well as an electronic check. Only thing that varies is the signature. If it is a paper check, the account holder needs to sign on it using a pen. Okay, and since here it is an electronic check, it is a digital check. So here no signature is used, no signature is required, but a digital number, a number is used, which is used to use as the signature of the account holder or the payer. Like a paper check, like a paper, it should be a check. Like a paper check, e-checks also bear the digital equivalent of a signature, a computed number that authenticates the check from the owner of the account. Okay? You see, in a paper check, the traditional check, the account holder or the payer has to sign. Then only the check will be verified. The authenticity of the check will be verified by matching the signature on the check with that on the bank account. And if it matches, then only the check is sent for processing. So here in the digital check system, electronic check system, instead of the signature made by the pen, it is a computer generated number. Okay, a computer generated number is used, which authenticates the payer of the account. Okay, if the number matches or um, is satisfies the authenticity testing criteria, then the check is processed and the amount is transferred from the payer's bank account to the payee's bank account. Digital check payment system seeks to extend the functionality of existing check accounts for use as online shopping payment tools. So, just like the paper check systems which are used for making payments instead of cash, um, payments can be made using the traditional check system, traditional paper check system. Just similar to that, instead of making payment through cash, um, online checks can be used uh, for making payments also. Okay, it is the same thing. Only in case of electronic check, it is an electronic copy of a check. It contains all the information that are filled in the paper check. The only thing that varies is the signature. In a paper check, it is the sign of the account holder, and in case of the electronic check, it is a computer generated number, which is used as the signature. Okay. Rest of the information on the check remains same as for the paper check as well as for the electronic check. Digital check payment system seeks to extend the functionality of existing check accounts for use as online shopping payment tools. So it is convenient since it is an electronic check. It is used for the online shopping or e-business, e-commerce. It's convenient for performing business on the performing business transactions over the internet. These are the advantages and disadvantages of e-check or electronic check. Advantages. First, let us look into the advantages. Number one, it it does not require consumers to reveal account information to other individuals when setting an auction. Okay? So just like the previous mode of electronic monetary payment system, this online check system also, payment made by the online check also maintains the privacy of the account holder, of the payer. The all the details about the bank account holders personal information like bank account details, etc., uh, is not required to be revealed, is not required to be entered anywhere for making or for using this check system, online check system. Okay, so the privacy secrecy is maintained, and thus it's secure. It remains safe. Do not require consumers to reveal account information to other individuals when setting an auction. Second advantage is do not require consumers to continually send sensitive financial information over the web. So this this online check system does not require the vital information, account related information to be transferred, to be or typed in, to be entered somewhere, as well as it does not require uh, some financial information about the bank account also to be entered for processing. Okay, it does not require financial information, that is account about the bank account of the payer also does not have to be entered somewhere for processing. It is less expensive than credit cards. And in the previous method, I told you that credit cards provide a lot of convenience, flexibility, because even if there is not sufficient amount, not sufficient fund, still payments can be made, considering some risk by the uh, financial institution, that is the bank. But that's why maintaining credit cards, the charges for maintaining credit cards is higher. Okay, but electronic checks are cheaper, less expensive compared to credit cards, because here this kind of risks are not considered. Risk for some on the part of the account holder or the bank financial institution is not considered, so it's less expensive because there is less risk and much faster. Fourth advantage is it is much faster than paper-based traditional check. So obviously, since electronic checks are processed online within no time over the internet, so processing of electronic checks is much faster than the traditional paper checks, because traditional paper checks will be um, accepted by the bank, and it will be the signature will be verified. Okay, and after that only when the check, it is a manual system. The traditional paper checks, verification or checking the authenticity of the paper checks, checking the signature, matching the signatures, then if everything is fine, processing the check and clearing the amount, clearance of the check usually takes 2-3 days. Okay, if the payer and the payee have bank accounts in different banks, but if it is within the same bank, not necessarily the same branch, if it is within the same bank, if both the payer and the payee have accounts in the same bank, say State Bank of India, both payer and payee have bank accounts in SBI, or within, say, UCO Bank or Axis Bank, both if both have the bank accounts within the same bank, not necessarily the same branch, then the processing or the clearing of the check becomes faster. Still, 1 or 2 days are required. But if the bank account, if they have accounts in different banks, then it usually takes 2 to 3 days. Okay, but compared to that, the processing of electronic checks is much faster because everything is done um, by the computers. Processing of the electronic check is done by the computers over the internet. So processing of electronic check takes no time. It is much faster. Processing of electronic check is much faster compared to the traditional paper check. But there are certain disadvantages also, like relatively high fixed costs, limited use only in virtual world. So relatively high fixed costs. The cost is high compared to the traditional paper checks. Limited use only in virtual world. Of course, if the check is a digital check, if it is an electronic check, it can be used only in the virtual world. That is for e-business, e-commerce. Okay, for making payments over the internet and not for the actual physical world. Okay, electronic checks can be used for virtual or electronic payments. Okay, for e-commerce, for e-businesses only. Number three, not very suitable for retail transactions by consumers, although useful for the government and B2B operations, because the latter transactions do not require anonymity and the amount of transactions is generally large enough to cover fixed processing cost. And since this checks also incur some cost on the part of the account holder, so Usually this checks, um, uh, in spite of all the advantages and ease of use, it is not very efficient, not very suitable for retail transactions. That is for transactions where small amount is to be processed. Okay, small amounts are to be transferred. This electronic check is not very convenient, not very suitable, and it is more suitable for business to business operations or for government bodies, government organizations, where the anonymity means maintaining the hiding the name of the account holder is not very a serious concern. It is not a very serious concern, and where large very big amount, large amounts are um, transacted, where large transactions are performed. There, um, these electronic checks are more suitable. Next is the electronic cash system. This is the third type of internet monetary payment system, electronic cash system. And we know what is physical cash, the currency notes, the paper currency notes, Rupam. Physical currency notes, paper currency notes, we know. Similar, just like there is electronic paper check and electronic check for online payment. Similarly, just like the paper check, the currency notes, there is also electronic cash system. Let us look into it. This is the third type of internet monetary payment system. This is a new concept in online payment system because it combines computerized convenience with security and privacy that improve on paper cash. Okay, since it is online, um, electronic cash and transactions are made over the internet, so definitely security features are there, safety features are there, and uh, it provides the computerized convenience with security and privacy. The privacy about the account holder, about the financial institutions is maintained, and that's why it is secured. Instead of carrying some paper cash, uh, huge amount, if you have to carry 50,000 or 1 lakh rupee in cash from one place to another place through the city using some public mode of communication like city bus or through this tempo, then it becomes a risky. We don't feel very easy, isn't it? We feel uneasy because someone might be noticing us, someone might be following us. They may, someone might try to snatch the money, snatch the amount from us. So that's why it's risky. But compared to that electronic cash system, since it remains safe, it is more secure. eCash is an electronic or digital form of value storage and value exchange that have limited convertibility into other forms of value and require intermediaries to convert. Okay, this I told you in the last class that in a bank account, from a bank account, if we have a bank account, we can draw some paper cash also out of it through some ATM machine or by uh, using a withdrawal form, filling up a withdrawal form, we can draw money from our bank account, or we can use the electronic money also. That is, we can make payments. If we have a bank account and if we have a net banking facility, we can make electronic payment also, payment over the internet. Okay. So eCash is an electronic or digital form, and this conversion, this mapping of physical as well as electronic money needs some mapping, needs some intermediary. Intermediary is something, a processing function that um, keeps track of the amount, whether it is physical or um electronic form, in the bank account holder's account, and that that thing is processed. Okay, that information is processed. If the account holder withdraws some physical currency notes from some ATM machine, then also the amount, be it physical or all the overall amount present in the account is maintained. Or if some electronic fund transfer is made from the bank account holder's account to some other person, then also that transaction is recorded and the amount available, the balance available in his or her account is also maintained. So who someone is there, that intermediary processing function is there, which maintains the balance or which keeps track of this balance all the time. Some transaction is performed on the account. eCash is an electronic or digital form of value storage and value exchange that have limited convertibility into other forms of value and require intermediaries to convert. Presents some characteristic like monetary value, storability, and irretrievability, interoperability, and security. And now, since it is e-cash, not physical or paper currency cash, so certain other features are also there, like monetary value, storability. These are some other benefits of using this e-cash system. All these characteristics make it more attractive payment system over the internet. So since digital digital form has many advantages as well as features compared to the um, physical currency paper notes. So it makes it very convenient for or attractive for use over the internet. These are the advantages. Authority. Certain things will be always same for all the different types of monetary payment systems, like privacy, security, authority. So these are the advantages: authority, privacy, good acceptability, low transaction cost, convenience, and good anonymity. Anonymity means hiding the hiding the name or personal information of the account holder. That is anonymous. Okay, if someone writes a poem but doesn't write his or her name, so that no one can identify by whom this poem or story has been written, and that is anonymous. Okay, unknown. The creator or the owner is unknown. That is anonymity. Then the disadvantages are poor mobility, poor transaction efficiency, and high financial risk, as people are solely responsible for the lost or stolen. So since though there are advantages, very convenience is there, it is very convenient like the other payment systems. Certain risk is also there since it is the electronic form. It is done, processing is done over the internet, so always risk will be there. Since frost, we cannot say who is watching our bank account or the transactions, how secure we are. Always the risk will be there, the financial risk will be there. And for any theft, any fraudulent activity performed on the transaction or on the account, only the account holder will be responsible for it. Okay, our time is running out, so I'll try to cover it up fast. I'll just read it out. The other two disadvantages are susceptible for forgery. Means it can be duplicated. The e-cash can be a certain security lag is there. So due to which it can be it is susceptible or vulnerable to forgery. It can be forged or duplicated. It is possible to, though increasingly difficult, to create and spend forged e-cash. Okay. No more than that, the duplicate or forged e-cash can also be used, can be created and can be made to use. The next one is the smart card based electronic payment system. Smart card means it contains, in addition to the usual online methods, it contains some other features which makes it smarter. Like we know smartphones. Smartphones have some additional features compared to the traditional features, and that's why we call it smartphone. Similarly, the smart cards contain, in addition to the usual facilities, convenience, certain other things like the a processor. Some cards contain a processor which can be used for processing also, and um, personal identification. This kind of features are there, and using these features, adding these features, smart cards are more advantageous than the other three payment systems. Okay, these are very advantageous. Anonymity advantages: anonymity will always be there, transfer payment between individual parties, and low transaction handling cost of files. smart cards are also better protected from misuse than, say, conventional credit cards because the smart card information is encrypted. So, smart cards are better or more intelligent systems. They contain processors as well as other security features are there, and more information can be, or more security, more safety or privacy can be maintained using the smart card systems. That's why smart cards are safer compared to the other three electronic payment mode systems. Okay, let us stop our class today. This is the end. Our time is also running out. I'll take your attendance. I'll call your names one by one. Before, but before